very, very
Good morning, ma'am.
happy. Yeah, 1 second. Yeah. Can Mr. Peters trying to join? I think you'll have to let him in. Is it how
Janani?
it works?
Ma'am, we haven't got any request yet, ma'am. I am admitting everybody, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Peter has to join from USA, so that's a
No,
reason I
no,
think.
he's trying to join in. It says he has to be admitted. That is what.
Oh, girls are saying there's no request like that which has come.
Okay.
Girls, once again, please check. Is he
Yes, ma'am.
logging in from his ID or some other ID?
Yeah.
The ID? Any ID, girls,
I'll
let them
just
in.
find out, ma'am. Hello. And he's just joining in. I don't know. Even I had some issue, and then I had to
Okay,
type it.
okay.
More used to Zoom than Google Meets.
Okay, okay.
Okay, no problem. So it's amazing and awesome being with you all here this morning. And Anuradha ma'am, our pleasure. And we really hope this 1 hour is of use and effective for the girls, and also the other coming sessions, because it's all interlinked. And even
Yes.
if 10 of them use what we are saying, and we are going to be very happy. But I'm sure all those who are here today will be participative. That is what we want from this session: to be interactive, to be participative, to take away whatever we can give. And we are here with you for this entire journey. So thank you, Anuradha ma'am. I mean,
Thank
it's
you
like,
so much.
thank you so
Okay.
much.
We'll start with the formal prayer
Yeah,
and
there
then
you
Mr.
can
Peter
start
can
off.
join in. Yes,
Sure,
girls,
sure,
please
ma'am.
start.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes. Good
Um,
morning.
a prayer. Our gracious and loving Heavenly Father, we call upon you in this time of illness and challenge. Thank you for keeping us safe in this pandemic. Today, I pray for your presence to be there on this webinar. Bless each and every person who are attending this webinar. Be with us, guide us, and guard us. In Jesus' most precious name we pray. Amen.
Good morning. Before the girls formally introduce Miss Kalyani, I thought I should welcome her. Very recently, I got acquainted with Kalyani through a common friend, Vinod. He had given me her contact number and he just asked me to contact her. I just made a call and immediately she accepted my request to address the girls. And I thought we'll have a one session, but she planned actually for 4 sessions. And all the four sessions are wonderful sessions, and they have been specially curated for NSS WCC. That's why ma'am had prepared a Google sheet yesterday, and she wanted the girls to fill it up and send her the feedback, because she would be able to address the actual concerns which girls have. This is a pandemic time, and most of us usually think very negatively at this time. We have negative feelings, negative emotions. So I think we should think about progress and development. That is why the girls wanted to speak about careers and something progressive. These are wonderful speakers, girls, that we have today. And normally, when you go to these sessions, you have to pay and you have to join such sessions. But because of NSS and because she wants to interact with the student community, she has agreed to do these sessions without any kind of payment, which is very, very good, ma'am. Thank you so much. And I want all of you to make use of this session. Just don't attend because you need a 1 hour attendance. Okay. These are wonderful speakers. You may not get such opportunities later to speak, to listen to such people. So please pay attention and be interactive. Don't sit like dolls and don't just switch off your videos and go to sleep. Okay. I want it to be interactive sessions. You can interact in 2 ways. If ma'am doesn't mind you disturbing her, maybe you can unmute yourself, switch on your videos and ask if there's something important. Or at the end, if there's a chat box on chat box, you can also post your questions, and I think the moderator will address the questions to Ms. Kalyani, and she'll be able to give you a feedback. She wants an interactive session. Okay, so don't sit like dolls and don't be sleeping and doing something. So this is a very important session for you because it will help you to plan your future. See, right now we are all so concerned what's going to happen today, what's happen tomorrow. We are not even thinking about a future, but we need to progress, we need to develop. So this is a wonderful session. Thank you once again so much, Kalyani ma'am, and thank you, Mr. Peter. And I think I will mute myself. I'm there here, but I'll mute myself. And I think the girl who's introducing, Ms. Kalyani, will start first, followed by the girl who's introducing Mr. Peter. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anuradha. And though it's free and all, you don't even have to mention it. It is of great value even to us to share whatever we can. And Mr. Peter has joined us. And it's his passion also to motivate and empower girls, especially. So thank you, Mr. Peter, for being here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. On behalf of NSS WCC, I welcome you. Thank you, sir. So you can continue, girls.
You have to unmute yourself. Peter, you've muted.
Yes,
sorry about that. My apologies. Took a little time joining in.
No
sorry
problem,
about
sir.
that. So
Welcome.
here with all of you. All right. Thank you.
Yes. Srinidhi,
Thank you, Anuradha, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now I invite Ms. Pavitra, coordinator of Pink Warriors, to welcome our chief guest.
Good morning, one and all present here. I take this opportunity to welcome our chief guest, Ms. Kalyani Hariharan. Kalyani Hariharan is the founder of Varam Foundation and a Zero Limits and Habits coach. As a founder of Metamorphosis, she has trained students and faculty in corporates. She has had 20 years plus of work experience and has been a solopreneur for more than 13 years. She believes in the innate power of an individual in bringing out the best of themselves. We are so delighted to have you as our chief guest today. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Pavitra. Now I invite Ms. Nandini, our coordinator of Little Sisters of Coors, to invite our guest speaker.
Good morning, everyone. It's my great honor to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Peter Paul. Mr. Peter Paul is an IT professional and has spent most of his career in frontline customer-facing roles at the interface of human experience and business interchange. His passion includes culture, spirituality, and music. He has a keen interest in mentoring and coaching young people to find their niche. We welcome you, sir.
Hey, thank you very much, Nandini. Great to be here with all of you.
Thank you, Nandini.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen here. Kalyani, you can just go ahead and start.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Okay.
Now I request ma'am, Ms. Kalyani Hariharan ma'am to for this session.
1 second, we'll take a photograph and then we'll proceed.
Yes, I wanted to suggest that. All smiles, please. Where are we supposed to look?
No, the girls will take the photographs, ma'am.
Yeah, girls.
Have you taken a couple of pics?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You can proceed, sir.
All right. Hey, Kalyani, why don't you go ahead and start?
Yeah, sure. I can't see the screen. Can you share the screen?
Yes.
Meanwhile, this is for Peter and the girls. There's no power in my house. My internet is unstable. So Peter, in the rare case, it doesn't get connected, you can take off from wherever I left.
No
Just
worries.
for information. Yeah. So girls, today we are going to talk about mainly career. But before that, I just want to say a couple of things. The whole topic is about what is your North Star? What does it mean? North Star is a technique, it is used long back, which leads sailors to discover new continents, etc. So generally they say identify your North Star, which means how do you identify your career? How do you know what you really want to do in life? So this whole session, the next 60 minutes is going to be all about that. Okay. But before that, I want to say something. Whatever you want to do in life, we need to have the right mindset, right? So there are two types of mindset. One is the growth mindset and there is a fixed mindset. I'm not going to go too deep on that. You all know what a fixed mindset is. Fixed mindset is I can't do it, I won't do it, all the negatives, I'm not interested, I've had only problems, I've had only failures, and nothing is going to change in my life. So I will not change. Whereas a growth mindset is all about approaching challenges with a very, very positive attitude. So today, what mindset are you all going to be in? In a growth mindset or a fixed mindset is what I want to ask you. You can type your answers on your comment box. Yes, I request you all to have the right mindset, to be here, mentally here for the next 60 minutes, physically be present. I know what all of us do with our videos off. We can be walking all around the place when we don't watch you, right? But please, next 60 minutes, be physically present, be mentally present. Yeah, thank you, girls. Keep typing on the chat box. I want you all to have a growth mindset. Just 60 minutes for your life, for your career. Yes, I just type a big yes. So there are always three things that you need to carry this word in your mind. I call it the magic word or the magic keys. It is ASK. You would have heard about it. Just remember this word, ask. A stands for attitude. S stands for skills and K stands for knowledge. Now, surprisingly, when you write attitude, ATTIT, I mean that whole spelling and then type the numbers A1, T20 like that, it is 100%. Remember, more than anything else, you may have the right knowledge, you might have the right skills, but you do not have the right attitude, then you will not be able to really progress better. So what I request you all to do is have the right attitude, right? The right mindset, the attitude to learn, the attitude to be happy, the attitude to forgive, the attitude to grow, whatever it is, and attitude to fight for what we want in life, right? So just remember these words, ask, it will help you throughout your life. Attitude, skills, knowledge. And when you do all the addition, later when you have time pass, I'm telling you, attitude is 100%, knowledge is less, skills is lesser, right? It's important to have all the three. Now I will, Peter, you can take over. Mr. Peter is going to take you through the entire career path. How do you really form your career? What are our challenges and things like that? So I'll just quickly go through the agenda. Peter, can I go through the agenda?
I think I'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Kels. All right.
Yes.
Ladies, a very good morning to you. I hope your Friday is treating you well, notwithstanding all that's happening in the world. I think all of us can be very thankful for another day. So, Kels, thanks for your introduction. And ladies, here's our agenda for today. Right? What we want to speak is the importance of now. Why is it that you need to start looking at your career now? Not tomorrow, not day after tomorrow, but now, right? And when you do that, how do you make sense of the changing trends in our world today? How has the ground shifted from a career and from a job standpoint? And then, having made sense of that, what is the art and science of preparedness, right? How do you prepare for it, for your world tomorrow? And as you do all of that, it's really important to stay safe, right? It's important to thrive. It's important to love. And that's what the core of our essence is about, right? As humans on this planet. And what we also want to do is to point you to a few resources to finding your North Star, right? Your true North. And that's what this program is about. So before I go ahead, this is not going to be a very boring session in terms of slides and talk and so forth. We have some multimedia here as well. We want this to be very interactive. So I hope you'll engage Kals and me, as well as all of you, and make this a very interactive session. All right? All right. So let's go.
There's no audio. Peter, the audio is not on. Never mind, girls. I'm sure you all have watched this scene multiple times, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So just watch it. You know what's coming up. There's no audio for some reason. There's no audio. Look at the body language of Surya also in this, scene. It's something very, the way he walks and carries himself. Peter, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand there isn't audio.
Okay, this is what he says, no? So what does he say? எந்த வேலையை செஞ்சாலும் இஷ்டப்பட்டு செய்யணும், கஷ்டப்பட்டு செய்யக்கூடாது, right? That's the whole thing. Whatever you want to do in life, do it with desire, not because, you shouldn't feel like you're forced to sit in this webinar today, correct? Okay, ma'am has called, we need attendance or whatever, so we have to sit. அந்த மைண்ட் செட்டோட வரக்கூடாது. எதை பண்ணாலும் என்ன பண்ணணும்? இஷ்டப்பட்டு செய்யணும். That was the reason for this slide. Yeah, Peter.
All right. So, ladies, and sorry the audio didn't work, but I guess you would have got the gist of the whole message, right? Now, it's not as if everyone in life can come and make a splash like Surya, right? We all have different temperaments. We all have different paths in life. We all have different depths. But each of us are here to make a difference. But then today, where exactly are you on the emotional spectrum, right? There would be some of you like Surya who would say, hey, can I make this fast enough? Can't I not put all the problems of the world behind me and accelerate my career, right? And there are others on the other end of the spectrum who say, look at the amount of the suffering, the loss, the pain. Is it really the need of the hour to focus on career? Now, both reactions are not wrong. Both reactions are right. However, what I'd like to tell you is, at some point in time, this pandemic will vanish, right? Either the pandemic will completely vanish and stop, or it might even be a fact of life. We'll continue to have different variations of the virus. But what I'm trying to say here is, life has never stopped. Life and living has never stopped. The show must go on. And having said that, the earlier all of you wake up, the earlier all of you get your act together and get your life together, the better, right? Now, the pandemic has offended the world, and it has affected all of us very personally, right? Each of us might have had some family member, some friend, some neighbor, someone or the other who's affected, who's sick, who's passed away. Families have changed dramatically. Life circumstances have changed. Overnight, young women have become widows and they've had to take on responsibility for their families, right? Young people like you have had to eke out for jobs just to keep the family income rolling in, right? So circumstances have changed. Now, the better prepared we are, the earlier prepared we are, the better. And the other point that I wanted to make here is that work and career paradigms have always been shifting, right? even whether, if irrespective of whether we've had a pandemic or not had a pandemic, work and career paradigms have been shifting. And I'll tell you why. But it's just that the pandemic has only accelerated. Changes have been accelerated. And here's the reason why. The ground has shifted, right? The ground has always been shifting. We've been noticing the ground shifting. We've been seeing the shifting sands. But today, it's accelerated. And what I'm trying to make out here with these few points here, it's not as if to suggest that, hey, all of you would be working in the manufacturing industry, or you work in the IT industry and so forth. But really, when you look at business, technology, process, operations, consumerism, right? All of those paradigms, they all eventually affect the way we live, the way we work, the way we relate, and so forth, right? So here are the paradigms that have been shifting. Digital systems have been in place, right? So what does that mean? Manufacturing is getting more digital oriented. Services are getting more digital oriented. The dependence on people and manual skills have been eroding, right? Therefore, traditional outsourcing models and global supply chains, where you had first world countries like the United States or Western Europe, outsourcing work, outsourcing business to countries like, let's say, China, India, the Far East, and so forth. Those paradigms have been changing, and they're bringing back work to their own shores, into their own geographies, right? So work as we know it, in terms of working for huge multinational corporations, that is going to get reduced, or it's going to get eroded, right? So insourcing is becoming the norm. And as you have the predominance of digital technologies like cloud and automation and AI and machine learning and so forth, what's happening is you will not see siloed roles, right? You will not see business roles, technology roles, process roles, operation roles. Now, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because young people like you, if you have aspirations to work in an office somewhere, you'll find that those office jobs are going to shrink by about 60% in the next 10 years. They've been shrinking. Automation has taken over. Conversational AI has taken over customer service jobs, right? Intelligent bots are doing it. And we don't see this. This is not just an IT paradigm, believe me. I'm actually a business services executive. So I see this everywhere. In fact, we are actually enabling it. So I'm also part of, I'm also a criminal here, if you want to put it that way. But having said that, it's actually time to reevaluate what it is that you bring to the table. And what you need to bring to the table are not generic skills. They're very specific, marketable skills that can generate immediate ROI. You get in quickly into a place, you are generating immediate ROI. That's the kind of value that people want to see from you. Status is out. My dad worked 40, 50 years in the railways doing the same job, being in accounting, right? Today's world is not that anymore. You keep changing careers, you keep changing, you keep constantly evolving, right? Constantly upgrading. And you constantly have to be learning. Now, all of this can sound depressing. All of this can not sound fun. I understand. I've been there in your shoes. And in fact, I'm doing it. In my 50s, I'm doing that right now, right? It can be fun if you want to. But hey, here's the good news. While I don't want to say doom and gloom, the fact is, once you have this pandemic, once India comes out of this pandemic, this is going to spawn out a whole new set of products, services, markets, jobs, opportunities in India, right? Now, that's provided the Indian government gets it right. Some states are doing extremely well in terms of policies and so forth that they've enabled in their states. But what I'm trying to say here is, all of you, no matter what, now look at it this way. 30 years ago, when I passed out, when I graduated, either it was engineering or medicine, right? You never had any kind of a life after that. So, like everybody else, I did my engineering, whether I liked it or not. But yes, God's grace, I got into IT. I'm having a nice job. I like it, right? But today, the way it is that you will have something or the other to fill your niche, to satisfy your soul, And that's a great thing about being, in your shoes, in your generation today, right? The other thing being entrepreneurship. That's no longer an exotic pipe dream. Now there are enough resources. If some of you really have that spark in you, hey, I want to start something on my own. I want to be a solopreneur. That's really what I'm talking about, the gig economy. The gig economy is in being able to sell your individual skills as a consultant, as someone who's doing something, producing something on your own, being a solopreneur, right? Marketing and monetizing your skills. All of that is being able to realize today, right? You're able to realize all of that today. That was not possible 30 or 40 years ago. Now, what does that mean? What that means is your individuality has been empowered. It's for you to stand up and be counted, right? You don't end up working for someone. Someone doesn't take up 50% of the actual value of your contribution by way of their profit. You get to keep what you make, and that's what it means, right? So bottom line, what I'm trying to say here is career outcomes are in your hands. You're the master of your ship, and you're the captain of your soul. All right. So any thoughts here? Any feedback? Please do go ahead. Send us your thoughts in the chat. I can't see the chat window, but I'm just going to go to the next slide in the interest of time. All right. So having said what I had to say, right, there is promise, there is potential. There would be a new day tomorrow that's going to dawn from here. Are you ready to wake up for that new day? That's really what the slide is about. Then that's what I want to talk, right? So it's imperative, notwithstanding what's happening in life today, right? All of you are cooped up at home. There's frustration. Everyone is getting on each other's nerves. And even worse, there's sickness and death, and there's loss of jobs, and there's loss of income, and so forth. And so yes, notwithstanding all of that, you have time on your hands today, right? Don't feel bad for what's happening. Don't be closeted with the world that you are in today. Open your eyes, develop your perspective, try to understand more of the world when you have time on your hands. You're all young ladies, okay? So take stock, assess, and plan. Now, what are the things that you can do? Can you try going in for career counseling early on? I didn't have that option in life. I had to make mistakes, right? Start off being a mechanical engineer, working in a grimy factory, putting myself out there to all kinds of dangers, fire, accidents, falls, all kinds of things. And then I decided that was not for me, moved into IT. Even in IT, it was like, doing this and that before I could really find my niche, right? But can you identify your own skills, your capabilities, what it is? So once you identify where you really want to be in terms of what are the resource and reach gaps that you have, what are the resources that you lack today for where you want to go in life, right? And then you'll have to create that roadmap, starting from where you are in life today to where you want to be, right? You literally will have to create a project plan for your life. Believe me, that's really important in today's life, right? Planning for your life, planning for your career, planning for how things would materialize. Now, what I want to say here is, in today's knowledge economy, it's really not what you know that matters. It's not your ability to cram things. Knowledge is changing, knowledge is evolving, right? Paradigms are changing. What will make you successful is about how you go about finding it. And more importantly, it's about who you know, your network, your connections, who can actually help you out in life, especially when you're a youngster, you don't have work experience, right? It's really important to have those mentors and coaches and those connections that can actually get you to where you want to be, right? So having said all of this, on a very practical basis, do you have the toolkit to succeed? So as an example, all of you are doing, your graduation, undergraduation, however you want to call it. Now, do you want to go ahead for higher studies? I've got news for you. Besides the formal, higher studies channels that you have, you also have, a plethora of other educational resources from where you can actually take certificate courses, right? and a lot of them are free. I don't know how many of you are familiar. Are you guys familiar with Coursera and Udemy, EDX, and some of these channels? I don't hear a reaction.
Chat box. You can type on the chat box. Yes, no, no.
Okay, okay. So I can't see the chat, but Charles, you can actually check out what's being written on the chat, right? But hey, educating yourself, right? If you're really career oriented, you really want to do something specific in life, getting a very specific education that really matters, right? And doing the right thing that actually fills your niche and where it is that you want to. The next being having a nice LinkedIn profile. Your LinkedIn profile is your show point. It is for you to advertise. So once you're out there on LinkedIn and you're advertising yourself, right? You will have employers looking at you, at your profile. You will have people of influence looking at your profile, right? And you know what? It's not really about experience. It's about what it is that you can actually do. So for example, what you can actually do, even if you do not have experience, right? You can share content on LinkedIn, right? Content that actually is relevant to your niche. And as you're sharing, it's just like your Instagram, it's just like Facebook, right? Who doesn't want to be popular? Who doesn't want to be seen? Who doesn't want to create a point of view? LinkedIn is nothing else but that. Just check me out. I'm here. I've got specific skills that I can offer you, right? That's what LinkedIn is about. So creating a LinkedIn profile, it's not too early to create a LinkedIn. Then having a well-crafted resume. Your resume really is your calling card. Believe me, when people look at your resume, recruiting managers, hiring managers, recruiting HR folks, they spend less than 10 to 15 seconds on your resume. If within 10 to 15 seconds, your resume is not catchy, it goes into the fire, the trash can, right? So crafting a nice resume with a very unique value proposition, which is very catchy right off the bat, that's going to help you out. Reach out, network, that's important. Do you have local connections? Let's say wherever you are, whether you're at Chennai, you're at Coimbatore, you're in Delhi, wherever you are, right? Try to find out where you have networking opportunities, right? Where you can actually meet not only like-minded folks like you to exchange ideas and thoughts and so forth. And this is not just about jobs. Let's say you are doing a home science, right? I'm just taking an example. And you want to be the best florist in Chennai. Or let me say, you want to be the best, person who does beauty and makeup and so forth. Go ahead, try to find connections within groups, common groups that find common purpose, and connect, exchange. You will be able to make connections either for your own individual business or even if you want to get a job. And what I'm trying to say here is, in all of this, let your personality shine. Don't be shy. All of you are individuals. All of you have been made in the image of God. And you should be proud of it. Right? Let your personality shine. Be prepared. Let your persona, your uniqueness shine. Place importance for presentation. Believe me, how you come across to people. Right? And I'm not saying here that someone has to look like Surya or look like Aishwarya Rai or somebody else. No, that's not what it's about. It's about looking neat. It's about being presentable. It's being able to communicate well and to be able to persuade. Right? Persuade and rally people. So having said all of that, right, what's really important is understanding what is your true north. Now, all of the other points that I mentioned earlier are just actions. They're all mere, actions here. But really, the core of all this is, do you really know who you are? And that's important. It's not just from a career stand. It's from a relationship stand. It's who you are in society. You're all young ladies. You're also going to get married at time, right? But before you attempt to know another, before you get into a partnership with either a job or a marriage or other relationships, It's really important to know who you are and what drives you. What are your priorities and what it is that you aim for in life? This is the most important part, right? And having done all of this, right, you understand your priorities and you also understand in a very, very unassuming and a very, very down to earth manner, right? Some of us have been born in a very privileged way. We don't necessarily have to care for, other priorities in life, but some of us may not necessarily be as prevalent, right? We might have to take into account other considerations in terms of our family, our society, and so on and so forth. How do you accommodate for all of this? Like, how do they all stack up when it comes to your career and your life and so on? Now, having done all of this, it's about, do you have a coach? Do you have a mentor? Believe me, this is extremely important. Someone who's been there, who's done that, who can look at your own situation with empathy, with kindness, and be able to tell you, I understand. It's okay if you're not there. I can help you out and help you by way of advice and mentoring and coaching and so forth. So that's really important, right? So any thoughts, feedback here? I'm going to rush because in the interest of time. So having said all of that, right? Having said all of that, we all are human beings at the end of the day. We need to live life, right? Whatever we are going through today in terms of the tragedy, the pandemic, the suffering, all of them will pass. This too will pass, right? Now, what I want to tell you, ladies, those of you who are here, who are listening and so forth, pat yourself. You're already doing a great job. You're all NSS volunteers. The other day when I got an introduction from some of you, I was really so thrilled and so proud to know that all of you are really trying to touch lives, right? You're already heroes. So pat yourself. Now, having said that, what I'm trying to state here is also a perspective. We are today in a state of war, right? So yes, I'm here in the United States. It's a great country. I mean, the kind of greatness here in terms of the thought leadership, the intellectual capital, right? I'm just not talking about the monetary wealth and the military capital and so forth. It's really the intellectual capital. How did that all come up? It just didn't just sprout like that. During the world wars, people here went through terrible situations. All the young men were being sent to fight out to the wars. But then what happened? The women took on jobs in factories, in fields, in sales, in marketing, and that's how women became empowered here in this country, right? That was one result of war. Another example was that certain sciences like operation research, modern management techniques, they all evolved from the world wars. Similarly, things like space research, all of them came up from the world wars. What I'm trying to say here is, look at this pandemic as an opportunity. Try to come out from your own individual circumstances, from the whole that, tragic situations like this try to force us down. Try to look out beyond yourself, and you will actually see opportunities for looking different, doing things differently, questioning the status quo, right? And making change. You are the change that you look at yourself in the mirror. Now, while I'm sitting here and giving you all this pep talk, what I want to tell you is life happens. It's okay if you fail once, if you fail twice. The key is to recover, recoup, and start running. The key is to recast your plans, doing it over and over again till you succeed, right? It's not the end of the world. You have time. You're all young ladies. You have time. And while you do all of this, stay fit, physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, and even financially. What I'm trying to say here is stay engaged. I know it's very difficult to sit in front of a computer monitor for a good part of your time, but try to engage every aspect of life, right? Stop by, smell the roses that are sprouting in spring. Stop, smell the coffee, talk to people. Tell your dad, look at him, look at your dad. He must be going through a lot, right? Today, tell him you love him. Look at your mom. Tell her you love her. She's trying her best. keep the family running. Take care of your siblings. And I know this is the feedback that I've got from a number of you, right? Engage with your neighbors, engage with friends. Don't stop your friendships, right? Male, female, whatever. Don't stop them, right? The other thing being present and ready. The whole thing about, huge human situations, global situations like a pandemic or the war or, some kind of a tragedy, is that the point is about being prepared and ready and being flexible, right? To take care of yourselves and your family. And that's really what leadership is about. It's about standing up, taking charge, right? Being practical and being present. Tomorrow you might be forced to take on a job. Don't worry. That's how life is sometimes, right? Stay positive. Now, we try to focus here about finding a career, doing the right things to find the right kind of career and so forth. Let me also make a point here. Some of you may not be very career oriented, right? And that's okay. That's okay. If you're not the type who doesn't have great career aspirations, if you're the type who aims small, right? And here I don't want to violate any kind of messaging or lessons that you've been learning from your formal educational institutions and so forth. All I'm trying to say is sometimes it's not really about the pursuit. It's not about trying to constantly pursue an ever moving North Star. Sometimes in life, the beauty is to hold your loved ones together, to look at a North Star and say, hey, yes, that's my North Star. I like looking at it from afar, and even that's okay, right? So I hope this pep talk was good. What we're going to do here, so before I can go ahead and, before Cals, you can go ahead and talk about resources for finding your North Star. Let me just play one quick clip here. Ladies, do go ahead and give your feedback. We will get into the more practical aspects of how to help yourself. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Girls, there's no audio, but I'm sure you all know which movie this is from.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what was the dialogue? Tell me what the dialogue was, one of you.
ஆசைப்பட்டா மட்டும் போதாது அடம் பிடிக்க தெரியணும்.
ஆசைப்படுறத அடையறதுக்கு அடம் பிடிக்க தெரியணும். Right? All of us have desires. I really love this statement. நிறைய ஆசைகள் இருக்கு. Or who doesn't have a desire? பட் அதை அடையறதுக்கு நம்மளுக்கு முதல்ல அடம் பிடிக்க தெரியாது. சப்ப மேட்டருக்குலாம் அடம் பிடிப்போம். பட் நிஜமா நம்மளுக்கு ஆசைப்படுறதுக்கு சண்டை போடுறோமா? போடுறது இல்ல. வீட்டுல யாராவது ஏதாவது சொல்லுவாங்களா? வெளியில யாராவது ஏதாவது சொல்லுவாங்களா? We have this fear, right? What will society say? What will people say? Am I disappointing my close family members? We all have these fears when we want that. We all have aspirations. We all have desires. But do we have that grit, that determination, that willpower to give it our all? நம்மளோட ஆசை அடையறதுக்கு நம்மளால அதுக்கு வீம்பு பண்றோமா? என்ன ஆனாலும் நான் செய்வேன். I mean, all in the positive, good things பண்றோமா? கிடையாது. Very few of us will actually fight for what we want in life. So that is why I love this dialogue. So we will also be having some resources. How do you find what you want in your... Peter, you want me to take up this slide?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So how do you actually find what you want to do in your life? What is your career? What's your job? So one is straight away career counseling if you have it in your college, or even mentoring. Your own college professors can be your mentors, and then start networking. What happens is if you know any other person working in an organization, somebody senior to you, definitely you can ask them also to mentor you, to guide you in the practical way. And please, continuous education is very important. It is not your formal education like your post graduation or a PhD, which is very good. But nowadays, there are a lot of massive online classes happening, courses happening. So, like that, it's Coursera. You have a free option, okay? You don't have to pay for it, or you pay around 3,000 rupees, you get certificates. You can choose the course that you want to do, you like to do. There are additional courses. What I would say is these are complementary courses to your main, whatever career you want to do. So you've got Coursera, you've got Udemy, you've got EDX, Khan Academy, and so many other courses, and from very good universities, fantastic universities. You want to do on environment, you want to do on say psychology, you want to do on neuroscience, name it, you've got courses. Okay, amazing. Communication, creativity, in Mari there are a lot of courses. The other thing is you're already, all of you are doing volunteering with NSS, which is brilliant. Being part of any other organization is also a lot of growth, right? These are co-curricular. I wouldn't even call it extracurricular, and very, very important. It has a huge impact on your resume, right? Because you're out there doing a lot of things. So volunteering, and then the internships. Now, whether internships pay or not, see if you can do some virtual or online internship every year. Final year student are, it's not necessary. Even in the first year, second year, see if you can do some internships. It really matters. And then we'll have a career development kit where, all those things like a resume and what all you need, communication skills, how do you develop your career. We should have our own development kit. And then, of course, most important is networking. What is networking? Knowing more people of influence, people who are on a very higher level. They have achieved a lot of things. They're probably they are influencers, right? They are CEOs of organizations. Then you have a lot of startups now. India is just full of startups. Anywhere you can have a startup business, right? So you can network with them, talk to them, show them your interest, and trust me, they will take you up. And then having a professional social content. So all this, and say you're all very savvy with social media than us. Use it to your best. Use it to your best. Learn a lot of things from social media and go out there and do a lot of things on social media in a very positive manner, which will really be useful for all of you. Just not putting 200 photos on Instagram. That's also nice. You need a lot of courage to do that, Illa. Coffee kudikire and watching the bird. Oh, the moon is up. All those, putting those so many photos on Instagram needs lots of guts. Correct? Since you all have that courage, now use it for your own good, where you can make it more productive. Yeah. Oh, Khalil Gibran is my favorite writer, philosopher. I think it's for Peter to do this.
But Kals, before we go ahead, and I really don't intend to speak about Khalil Gibran. I just want him to speak for himself. But on the previous slide, ladies, what we'll try to do is, whatever that we showed here in the slide, right? We'll try and help you out. In the next few days, what we'll do is, we'll come back to you and give you some tips in terms of, hey, where to find career counseling in and around Chennai, right? Are there networking channels that you can tap into in and around Chennai, right? We'll help you with a career development kit in terms of what a sample resume for a fresher like you should look like, what a sample LinkedIn profile should look like, right? And ways you can actually tap into locally within Chennai in terms of volunteering and internships. Believe me, internships are really good. Without having any kind of experience, you try to volunteer, you try to intern within a company, and you gain experience maybe for about 6 months or 8 months, and that will actually help you, get into a job down the line into the future, right? And this is not just about having a job. This is also about specific aspects or specific solopreneur or entrepreneurial things that you want to do by yourself. I would think that line of thinking is really extremely important down the line, where you're monetizing your own skills. You're trying to capitalize on your own individual talents, and you're trying to monetize it, right? So we'll try and help you. In the next few days, what we'll do is we'll try to send you some information that would be very practicable for you in terms of putting this to use, right? So, yes, there is Khalil Gibran. He talks about, working with love and doing things with love. And where he says, work is love made visible. Unless and until you don't love what you do, unless and until you don't love your purpose for why you are here on this earth, believe me, then becomes drudgery and monotony and meaninglessness, right? Now, there are a few other slides here. I don't know, Cal, if you want to cover these or you want to take Q&A.
Pardon?
I don't know whether you want to, cover some of these slides here.
I just want to mention that I just take 2 minutes, girls, before we get into our Q&A. I just want to mention, we just think of these traditional jobs, engineering, doctorate, accounts, finance, bank. Please, there are lots more in the offering now. More jobs than you can even imagine. So just get out of the traditional mode of thinking. That's very important, because none of us know, most of us do not know the plethora of jobs that is available outside, right? Peter can just take me through the quick slides. I'm just going to wrap it up, girls. So choose a career stream which you like, not just for the heck of it, right? It has to be, yes, you need to monetize, but choose a stream that you like, and think before you jump into a career, right? Next, and learn new subjects to upskill, and that is through all these Coursera and things like that. Do those complementary courses which will enhance your resume. Next slide. And then you must do a lot of projects. Do not look at monetizing. Use your time very productively. Do a lot of projects. And now that we're all on virtual mode, not just Chennai, you can connect all over the world if you have the heart for it. You can definitely do it. And then, yes, enhancing your personality. It's very important, because sometimes, yes, first impression is the best impression. Enhance your personality, enhance your skills. The minute your persona should speak for yourself, right? You can't say, hey, I'm great in communication, and not open your mouth. That doesn't suit. Yeah. Next. And then, gain a global perspective. Understand, don't be just Chennai, South India, Tamil Nadu. Go beyond and see how it can help you. What are the things happening all over the world? What are the things that are changing? And you may think, all this AI, automation, robotics, it is for every field, every industry. See how you can learn a lot more things like that. Yes, next. So get yourself a mentor. It's very, very important. Peter and I are here. We are willing to be your mentors in whichever line of thought you want to be. Peter, I'm speaking for you too. So if you want a mentor, you can always come back to us, or you can also find somebody that you want to. Yeah. And exchange programs, if it is possible, do find out. Your college also has some exchange programs, because exchange programs really help. Rotaract has a lot of exchange programs, if I'm not wrong. Rotary Club, there's Lions Club. Find out where you can do some small exchange programs. It helps. A lot of cultural exchange, and like Mr. Peter said, internships. It is so important, so important, so important. So please do some internships somewhere. Don't waste your time. And at the end of it all, have fun. Idella serious irukala, but at the end of the day, you must have fun doing all these things, and you must be happy, and you must be productive. You must be happy at the end of the day. Yeah, there's no point being sad and all. Have fun. That's all. So I'm closing this session now. So we are open for question and answers. Your feedback, and girls, I sent you a Google form yesterday. Do please send in all the details. It will help us in the longer run, and we are open to questions. Preferably, you can just ask, and how much ever we can answer, we will get back to you. Yeah, we'll start quickly. Let me see all that energy and participation and interaction. Come on, girls. Start. Who's going to ask first? I don't like silence, that you can keep all the
All
silence
right.
in classrooms.
I think there is a question here. I'm just not going sequentially here. It says, Tareen Feroz, if we don't have a mentor for guiding us, what should we do? Right?
Just offered our services.
Yes. Tareen, you're, first and foremost, you're most welcome to connect us. Tareen, are you there? Is
Yes,
Tareen online?
sir. Yes, sir.
All right,
I am there. I'm there.
I remember you from a previous call. Now,
Yes, sir.
yes, granted that hey, sometimes it may not be easy, right? But in a world of 7 billion and in a country of 1.4 billion, I think it's about seeking out and finding. I know it's not easy. I know sometimes people can take advantage and so forth, but I think it's about constantly reaching out and trying to find. Hey, in today's world, who has the spare time, right? That's also a reality. So try to find it. And in today's world, like with the internet and the books and so forth, it's not as if self-help is not around, right? The kind of resources that you have today, I never had it 30 years ago, right? And we
Yeah,
had to muddle through all the kind of choices that we had to make and so forth. So keep trying, you'll find it. Kals and I are here.
Yes, we are here for you. We are very serious about it. Really want to help and empower. That's why Mr. Peter has joined. Peter, thank you so much from all of us for being here. And let's
I'm
see
happy
if
to
we
be
can make a change. Yeah, girls, other questions quickly because you all will zone off. Go ahead.
Where can
Where
we
can we
contact you?
contact you? You have our phone number and email ID. You can always contact us. Yeah, Janani, I'll share the number and email ID. You can contact us. Not an issue. Yes. Question? Yes. What silence? Yeah. They're thinking parents are around. How can we ask questions?
It's okay. Go ahead. Ladies, we have only a few minutes here. So
Good to have questions. Please ask.
we understand that maybe something very specific to your individual fields will help, right? Where do we find internship programs? All right. Kals, would you want to take that up?
Yeah, one thing, girls, there are a lot of internship programs happening. I will also see if I can, if you let me know which course you're doing and what you exactly require, I can connect you to a few company people and find out if they offer internships. They may not be paid, but I would suggest you still take them.
Okay. I find a very interesting question here. Can you say something about the opportunities for visually impaired in jobs?
Right now, no, but I will find out.
Yes, it's not a very easy question to answer. How to control our fear and how to face difficult interviews.
Fantastic.
The perspective that I have here is that you do it incrementally, right? It's not as if you face a stranger at an interview and that's your first time facing a stranger or a strange situation. The more you expose yourself to situations, right? The more you expose yourself to talking to new people, you will actually be able to overcome this fear. At the end of the day, the interviewer is just a human being. He or she might appear to be a very, overbearing kind of a person, but that's okay. Just be yourself.
Can I just continue on this? I've been
Yeah.
in the on placements, right? I have coached many students, MBA students, of course, on interviews. One thing, be prepared. Your knowledge helps you, right? You should know your subject. You should know what questions can be asked. The knowledge part of it. The other thing is your attitude is what interviewers basically check. Even if you don't know an answer, do you have the guts to say sorry sir or ma'am, I don't know this answer, but yeah, whatever it is. So one is knowing your subject is very, very important. You can't be sitting ignorant there. The other thing is, just like Mr. Peter said, they're after all human beings. You're there for a job, and if you don't get the job, it's not the end of the world, right? It would have learned. And the third thing, attend a lot of mock interviews. Mock interviews really help you in a real setting. Mock interviews, we create a setting and we have some outsiders who come and take an interview. We've done that. So have a mock interview. It will give you an understanding of where you stand. Know your strengths, weakness, do your own SWOT, right? You know what is SWOT? Strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats. You must know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, because they are definite questions. And understand your resume. Whatever you write on your resume, it's very, very important. No lies there. And understand your resume. What questions they ask, you must fatafat come up with an answer. That is very, very important. What you write on your resume.
At the end of the day, it's okay to be afraid, but it's okay not to stay in your fear, right? Believe me, even at my age, I get into interviews. I've changed a number of jobs, and it sometimes it can be intimidating, right? But the point is not to stay in that zone. The ability to breathe deep, relax, and just think at the end of the day, this is not the end of the world, and you are here to give out your best, right? So that's the way you overcome. Any other questions?
Yes.
Well, there are questions here. Sometimes, no matter how hard we try, our efforts don't convert into actual credits. How do you go about it, right? Now, the key here is this. I can understand how competitive it is in India, right? Uh, Oftentimes, it is not just our qualifications and our work and so forth that matters. Let's accept the fact that there are human dynamics here, right? Let's accept the fact. Let's be open. People are, motivated by things like community and caste and region and bias and all that kind of stuff, right? And believe me, that exists in every corner of the world. The key here is, number one, when you are contributing to some organization or you're doing something, right? The key is to make sure that you're actually spreading the word around, that you're actually showing it for what it's worth. But notwithstanding doing that, if someone is not recognizing it, move on. Don't stay in the same toxic place. Move on. Go and find places which accept you, right? And believe me, I've faced that in my career too. So that's the key. The key is not to stick on in one place.
Neha, I'm taking your question. Even though we know the answer and have the knowledge, what do we do when we have stage fear? Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes we just get frozen with fear. One is to practice in front of the mirror if possible. Look into the mirror and answer your questions. Look into the mirror, and that really helps. Or have a friend do a mock interview for you. Have them sit in front of you, ask questions. A friend, a friend's friend. That really helps. That really helps. I have seen the boldest of boys quake even before, they've had shivers before even a mock interview, and it's okay. But what happens is stage fear, you never know what happens. The fear comes because of the unknown. Fear comes because you think we will be failing. Fear comes because you're afraid to have some rejection. But throw away all the thought and do your best. Fear is there. Go and grab it. That's what I would say. Don't run away. And it's normal to be afraid. At this age, I do get afraid. Even before a session, like when we are handling, we all have the jitters. It should go well. See, right now, I don't have power cut and I'm constantly, I have the fear. What if, if the whole thing just falls off, right? We all have that fear. Have a backup and talk to yourself, talk into the mirror and share your fears. Yes, fear happens anytime. Accept it. And then be bindas, that's all. Any other question, girls? They are thinking, on a Friday morning, do we need all this? Girls?
It's like this. You will need to spend time, right? When it comes to fear, when it comes to overcoming fear, right? Number one is to understand your own uniqueness and your sense of self. Right? Once you understand that, that's number one. Number two is to put yourself out there in such a situation. The more you put yourself out in the situation, right? And it's not about being damaged, psychologically damaged and worn out and so forth. No, it's not that. It's about increasingly putting yourself into it. And exactly like what Cal said is about mock interviews, facing more situations, more people, getting onto the stage, right? Being able to talk publicly. All of these aspects. And in fact, it's not just about public speaking and talking to people. Let's say, can you do something like, how many of you swim? Does any one of you swim? Does any one of you, can you do a bungee jumping? Has anyone done bungee jumping? Right?
Me.
I'd like to, jump off from a plane and parachute this year, right? I want to overcome my fear, right? When you do some of these things, right, what happens is it actually creates a mind shift. It creates different perspectives and it changes the way you look at life, right? So that's about it. I'm very glad I see some responses here. Yes, sir, done, so on and so forth. Good for you guys. All right.
Okay, other questions, please, girls. I was expecting some 100 questions to answer. What is this? First of all, get out of your fear of, if I ask a question and I'm found silly, will people laugh? Remove that thought first.
All right. I
You
see
can
some.
ask
I
anything,
see some
right?
nice responses here. People are planning on doing things. I'm really very happy about it. Manishwari asks us, sometime when we do something, society indirectly influences our actions through our family, friends, and relatives. How do we look past such influences? And that's a very important question, right?
Very.
Now, here's the deal. Sometimes you can completely harp on your own individuality, right? And say, to hell with the world, to hell with my family, to hell with all the neighbors think. I'm just going to do things on my own, and I'm just going to do things what I like. Now, is that really the best approach? Sometimes when you're really living in an extremely toxic environment, maybe that's the best approach. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend that you burn bridges, right? Try to find a Y medium, but exercise your individuality. Try to show them the light. And when people don't see the light, try to move away from that environment. That is the best thing that you can do, right? And believe me, there are places in this world where you will be accepted for who you are. It's just about trying to find those places and those situations, and trying to find your niche within them. It's easier said than done, but it takes practice. And the earlier you do it in life, right, in your young age, the better for you. That's what.
And can I say something? Girls, please remember, we cannot please everybody. We cannot please our parents, brothers, sisters, relatives, friends. Impossible. So get that Nailario, please. No, I should also be happy. That's never going to happen. Sometimes you really need to fight for your rights. Small rights also at home, we girls need to fight. And being a girl from a very conservative family, I know how much of I'm a rebel, for fighting for everything. Right from going out, wanting to do this, taking the unconventional way of wanting to work on my own, doing my own business. When the teacher you can earn 10,000 rupees. Why do you want to struggle? There are questions like this. Family puts so much pressure on you. I know it's very tough, but if you have the desire, you can come out of all that. The same family after 10 years will say, wow, look at it. I knew Srinidhi will make it in life. Like this dialogues they'll give. So sometimes understand we cannot please everybody. But Manushri, that's a very important question. Thank you for asking
Right.
that.
A nice point here. Neha Arun Francis asks, am I weird? It's actually great to be weird, Neha. I would suggest that you continue being weird. Right? It's the weirdest of people, and it's the weirdest of situations that have spawned the greatest of ideas. Now, what would happen is you will find opposition, right? The greatest of leaders, the renegades who came here. Who was Jesus? Jesus was actually a wild dude. He had long hair. He walked around. He said the wildest of things, and he was just tearing out the whole philosophy of Jewish religion when he said, "In 3 days, I'm going to tear this temple down." And that's what he did, right? And he was too wild for his time, right? Sri Krishna was too wild for his time as well, right? But then, hey, he got aboard that chariot and he had to advise Arjuna about conducting a righteous war, right? It's okay to be wild. It's okay to be weird. The only thing here is not to burn bridges, not to make too many enemies, but stand up for yourself. Stand up and be counted. It's okay.
Neha, I love you for this question because everybody calls me weird. It's okay. Have your little bit of madness and nonsense, and not everybody will think the way you want to think. That's why I'm saying be yourself as long as you don't harm others. I like this question from Nandini. We want to learn something, do some projects, but we are really lazy. Totally agree, especially during the lockdown period. It's your life. Duniya teri mutti mein. Decide how do you want to take it up. We can continue to be lazy, but then after 1 year you will definitely think, why did I not use the time for myself? It is your intensity of desire versus your intensity of desire to sleep and be lazing around. It's great to laze around, trust me, but see if you can do something else. Throw away that laziness and just get into action. It's very, very important, right? Good. All of us are lazy sometimes.
Very nice questions here.
I love it. I love the question.
People are getting
I wish I
engaged.
could take them in person,
ideal morning routine to have engaging and energetic day.
Ma'am, last question.
Yeah, ask. Yeah, Srinidhi.
What, according to you, is the model ideal morning routine to have an engaging and energetic day?
Yeah, that's what
It's
Mr.
asked
Peter
by
was
mathematics.
trying to answer. Peter, do you think we should be answering this?
Okay, to tell you the truth, I struggle to get up in the morning. That's because I've been a night person throughout, right? Uh, I can just do things
Pass.
throughout the night. I'm more of a late night person. But ideal morning routine, uh, I would say, is to, I think getting up early. I mean, not everyone is an early morning person, right? Let's recognize that. I think that ability to set your perspective right, right? What did I plan for in life? What did I plan for this week? What did I plan for today? Am I meeting it, right? And so, where do I want to get to in life? That's number one. Number two is that state of mental preparedness. That's that sense of mindfulness about who you are and where you are, and that ability to set your mind and your conscious intent to manifest what you want to do. I think that is something that you can actually do. So that's the way I would look at it, unless
No,
Gal says something else.
no, I will say even I'm not a great morning person, but because as a mother and all that other domestic chores, I'm forced to get up in the morning. So the first thing I do is, the minute I have to get up, I get up. I don't postpone it. So that's called the 5-second ritual. The minute you decide to get up, don't think get up, get up. And I go have my bath first, which really energizes me. And then I do my small bit of gratitude. I say thank you for the lovely day, for the birds and the animals and my pets. Pets means my dogs and my 2 children also. Include them in the pet list, right? So have a gratitude, definitely. And when I have activities throughout the day, I'm I'm gung-ho on the whole day, right? I need to be charged. I need to have activities. So that's very important. So decide what excites you most and make that your best thought in the morning, and you'll get up and start journaling what you want to do.
So
Really helps.
Anushka Singh has a bunch of questions here, right? Anushka, don't mean to ignore you here. You want to write a book, but yet again the fear of failure takes over and how to overcome it, right? Parents' finance. So the question that I have here is, Kals, are there publishers who actually would invest in your book without
Yes,
you
there
having to
are
put
a
in
lot of,
finance?
yeah, I'll take this question. Anushka, you know what? First, throw away fear. Unless you try it, you never know, right? Even Harry Potter, I forgot her, what's her name? Yeah, Harry Potter, who wrote,
J.K. Rowling,
J.K.
ma'am.
Rowling.
J.K. Rowling, I'm sorry, slip
J.K.
of my
Rowling.
tongue. J.K. Rowling, she's written. You mean to say she was accepted by the first publisher? None of the authors' books were accepted by the first publisher, right? You do not think your fear is what? What is your fear? Fear of failure. Who decides you're a failure or a success? And unless you put your first page, unless you've written your first word, how do you even know you're a failure or a success, right? So just go write it. First, now write the book. Then we'll think about the publishers. You come to me, I'll connect you to publishers. There are very good publishers. There are online publishers. I've had now a half a dozen friends who have now written books, and you know what I'm supposed to do? I have to buy their book, I get their autograph, and I have to supposed to review their book too. So everybody is writing a book. Great, go ahead and write it. Start with a blog, and who's going to decide you're a failure or a success? And you will not know unless you start. It's okay to be a failure. So just start with your book, write your first page today, and tell me that you have hit it. And parents' finance. See, initially you don't need parents' finance, or you think about taking up small online classes, see what is your skill or a hobby, try teaching it and make your own money. Simple. A lot of ways to release your book on your own. So it's easy. I will connect you to people. All the best. Write your book, write your first page today, Anushka.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really promising.
No,
Be
it is.
yourself,
You
Anushka.
will write
Be
it.
yourself.
Just you write it. Yeah. Any other question, girls? Anything that you want to share? A feedback about the session? Can you prefer any internship? Yeah, do internships from the house only now, where it's all lockdown. Another 3 months, 4 months in Chennai. I don't think any one of us are coming
I
out.
think
So please do your internship.
I think it's quite possible she meant to say, can you refer me any internship doing from my home? Right? I think Akshay, that's what you meant.
Akshay, what is your course you're doing? What stream are you in? History, geography, biology, what is it? We'll find out who's
English,
this.
ma'am.
Huh?
English, ma'am.
English. Oh, tons to do in English. Get into proofreading. Contact companies, publications, tell them you want to do proofreading. And it's a great way to also spend your time and read a lot. They'll take you. Try it out.
So,
There are
Neha has
publishing
asked a
houses where
question.
you can do proofreading.
So I think this is a very practical question here, right, Cal? Neha has asked a question, and she says, I've got interest in a number of things, right? And I really can do a number of things, but where do I find my niche? I don't know which I'm the specialist in. So is there some way in which they can actually map their interests and then be able to zero in on that one number one, right? And also do all the other things as well. But that's a
Yeah,
question.
there are ways. Peter, remember our course, we are designing Dreams to Destiny, which exactly talks about what are your thoughts, identifying your niche, and finally taking it out, making it your destiny. Peter and I are designing a course which will be out soon, and we'll keep you posted. But the other thing is, Neha, at your age, it's absolutely okay to have multiple desires. It is all right. Keep doing. See what brings you more happiness and see what can monetize better. And you will be able to then, have a degree like, okay, I like for example, I love singing. I sing, right? I'm a musician. And I also like to read a lot and write a lot. And I love to cook a lot. Now imagine what do I do with so many other, I say the problem of plenty, some people don't know what to do. And we've got 5 or 6 things and we don't know what to do, right? It's the problem of plenty. So you do sketching, you write poems, and these two can coexist. Who says you should not do both? And then you can post your poems and see what gets likes, and if you can get your poems published, then you can sketch for your own poems, right? That is actually clubbing the two. I mean, I'm just talking off the hat, but that will be awesome. You do your own sketching for your own poems, and yeah, counseling we all can give, free advice, good only. At least you are giving a year to your friends, and that is very, very important. Great job, Neha. Call yourself a multi-potentialite. Hello, anything else, girls? Any feedback about the session also you can share here, and I've sent a Google form. Please fill that up and type the submit button. Peter, I've really enjoyed this session. Peter, how about you? With all us beautiful Chennai girls. Wait, I have a question. Whenever I say, I want another dinner, people will be like, you want to sit at home. The going to sit at home is said by family members, right?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
I know. Exactly. You know what? Our villains are not outside the society. It's all within the society. They'll say, for that, why do you need to work? Peter, for your information, because you've been in the US for quite some time, our parents, I would say our parents, I shouldn't say parents, still say the same thing to girls. The majority of us girls are told that why do you want to have a higher education? You can sit at home and cook and take care of your husband and children. So your great Indian kitchen is not wrong. So we still have that very difficult to fight against them. And then they'll say, Kalyanam pannintu nee vena purushangi veetla poi padi. So many mothers say this, if I'm not mistaken, right, girls?
Understood.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
See the SS Peter, you don't believe when I say this.
No, this situation is not going to end even after you get married, right? The key here is to get economically independent. No matter whether you're in India, whether you're in China, whether you're in America, whether you're in Africa, if you're not economically independent, people will hold you to their strings. That's what it means. Get yourself economically independent. Stand on your own 2 feet, right? I know it's easier said than done. I know your generation, it's very hard. But get a job. Get economically independent. Pursue your dreams.
Peter,
And pursue whoever else you want to, right? Nobody's going to stop you. That's what you should do.
No, you didn't understand the question. No, they already have a degree, and if they want to pursue another degree, they do not have that wherewithal because parents are not going to fund them for the degree, right?
Exactly. And my point is, if you can fund yourself, you can do things on your own. Believe me, I'll tell you, here in the United States, Education is extremely costly. Do you think young kids are sitting and depending on their parents? By age 17 or 18, they are out of the house. They are working. They are making money. By the time they're 23 or 24, they go back to college and they're taking student loans and they're furthering their education. Believe me, they're not depending on their parents, a lot of them, right? That's the kind of model that you guys need to get into.
And wanting to be an IAS officer is great. Please go ahead and do it. And this is, our next session is actually about your employability skills and getting into entrepreneurship, how you can monetize your skills. Our next session, Janani will share the dates with you all. And that is going to be, again, a very useful session, which will tell you what are your skills, how do you identify, how do you monetize it. And nobody can stop you. Lockdown period, use it to your best, sell anything online, get 10 children, teach them something, make your money. That first of all, give you a lot of empowerment. And sometimes, ஆசைப்படுறதுக்கு அடையறதுக்கு அடம் பிடிக்க தெரியணும் சண்டை போட்டாலும் பரவாயில்லன்னு. They'll get you married otherwise.
Your predicament is understood. Here we don't have such good part-time jobs for us to earn money like in other states. So I think that's the truth. The Indian economy is not doing well today, but I have hope that once this pandemic is over, the jobs market will open up. Things will open up.
We don't have part-time jobs, Peter. We don't have part-time jobs where you can work and earn and stuff like that. It's very difficult here. And parents won't allow girls to do. Say that.
And you know what? I'll tell you what. A number of people, so I didn't study in the US, but a number of my colleagues who came here, young 20s, right? They all lived in nice families, right? Needs taken care of. Mom will come and put food on the table. Dad is taking care of finances. They didn't even have to iron their shirts. You know what these guys come here in the US and do? They do their MS. They work part-time. They're cleaning dishes and kitchens. They're delivering newspapers. They're waiting tables just to make some money and to survive. And they're learning extremely important life skills, right? So those are the kind of part-time jobs that, young Indian kids do here, besides doing their MS. And believe me, doing masters here, it's not a cakewalk. It's really very tough, right? So I understand you might not have good part-time jobs, but I think things will open up and you should be in good stead possibly in the next 6 months or so, hopefully.
Work for yourself and monetize. That's my best advice.
The other thing is monetizing your skills, right? So here's an example. Yeah, here's an example. I never found good, the kind of Christmas cake that you get in India, the rum cake, right? I learned to make it myself. I make extremely good cake. And I was telling my wife the other day, hey, actually, we need to make this. It's not available in the US. Maybe make this and actually start selling it in some of the grocery chains. And it could potentially be a hit, right? There you have it, the biggest example of monetizing what you already have on your hands. So just think out of the box. You'll find the ways to do it. Any other
questions?
Our
whole next session is about that. So
parents won't allow. Okay. All right.
Janani is waiting the mic.
All right. So I think I'll have to leave in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, Janani, you can wrap up the session.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Srinidhi?
Hi, Saka. Now call upon Ms. Charavati, coordinator of TANSAC, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks for this wonderful event. On behalf of NSS WCC, I would like to thank our respectable speakers, Kals and Peter sir, who spared their valuable time to enlighten us by sharing their thoughts and opinions. The session was very interactive and refreshing indeed. Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. I also extend my hearty thanks to our principal, Lillian I. Jasper, and NSS program officer, Anuradha ma'am, for enabling us to organize this session. And last but not the least, I also thank our office bearers and volunteers for their active participation. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you very much, ladies. It's been a pleasure.
Peter, so much.
And
thank you, Kalyani.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, both. Looking forward to the next session.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. And yes, I look forward to connecting with all of you. Thank you very much to WCC as well for enabling this. So appreciate your sponsorship here.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.
Students, just stay back for 2 minutes.
Have a nice
Anuradha
day.
ma'am, thank you so much for
Thank
this
you, Kalyani.
opportunity. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you do your MA, but I'm not interested. Go write your exam for SBI and prepare for it. You get your job letter, and then tell your parents.
Oh.
We can find out ways, girls. Okay, chalo, bye. Let me sign out.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you,
Students,
sir.
please wait.
Have ma'am, Kalyani ma'am and sir left? Okay. How was the session, girls?
Very nice, ma'am.
Very informative and motivating.
Enna? Solluma, Gauri. I think Gauri was talking. Huh? Who was talking? Tadin, it's brilliant. Ida, it's really great. Maybe a little bit of this feedback can be forwarded to Kalyani ma'am also. Okay, before I won't take up much of your time, just 5 minutes. I can see only 81 girls. I think including me, it's 81. So that means there are only 80 people on board. So actually our number is 250. Again and again, I'm telling you the same thing. See, these people, they're all highly professional, trained people. Normally, when they organize a program, they do it for corporates. For corporate offices, they have these workshops, one-day workshops, motivational workshops and all. So when they do these workshops, each participant is supposed to pay 5,000, 10,000 like that, and they have a one-day workshop. But I told them not to have a one-day workshop because I know you all have attention deficit disorder. More than 1 hour, you cannot spend time, you won't concentrate. 1 hour itself, you won't concentrate. So actually, I told her not to have it for more than 1 hour. She was interested to have a long long session, but I told her you can break it up. So actually, they planned for 4 sessions, but I told her to make it only 3 sessions. So if you tell what type of session you want next, maybe she'll be able to curate the session specially for you. This was a special session curated for NSSWCC. Why NSSWCC? Because normally she does for corporates. That is people who are already employed, people who are working. For such kind of people, she's working. Now for students, you need a different kind of, she can't talk the same way as she talks to corporate people, to you people. So she needs to create a different workshop. So this has specially been created for you to motivate you, to help you come out of this pandemic situation, to encourage you to think better, to make you think about your future and all that. But what is very sad is out of 250 girls, I think your number is 250. It's only 80 people who are present here. So what I want you office bearers to do, office bearers are leaders. You're just like teachers. One teacher has got a class of 70 students. If something goes wrong with her class, she is responsible for her class. She has to answer to the principal what is wrong with the class. Okay. So office bearers and assistant office bearers, you are all being elected leaders. You are leading a group of students. You need to show your leadership skill. Find out why your group didn't attend. What was the reason? See, it's all if you're at home. Okay. எல்லாருக்கும் ஃபோன் இருக்கு. டோன்ட் டெல் மீ யாருக்காவது ஃபோன் இல்லாத பொண்ணு இல்லவே இல்லை. என்ன கஷ்டம் இருந்தாலும் வீட்டில் கையில் ஒரு ஃபோன் இருக்கும். 24 hours வாட்ஸ்அப்போ இன்ஸ்டாகிராமில் ஃபோட்டோ போடுறது, ஃபேஸ்புக்கில் ஃபோட்டோ போடுறது, இதெல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு தான் இருக்கீங்க. ஒரு 1 hour, it's not that every day I'm calling you people online asking you to sit. 1 hour, I think you should be able to spare time for a program which has been created specially for you. இப்படி நீங்க எஃபர்ட்டே எடுத்து வர போறது இல்லைன்னா there's no point in me conducting such programs, because when we conduct a program they ask me what is the strength of the student. Initially I told her 450. The reason I told her 450, I thought about shift 2 also. Then I thought, okay, let's not include shift 2 right now, let's keep it only to shift 1. Maybe if necessary we can include shift 2 later. Okay, shift 2 they're not having programs because their mom has gone on maternity leave. They're not having any such programs. So in fact they want to join. They have been asking whether they want to. Kalyani ma'am has actually messaged me. She said it's a wonderful session and she wants feedback. So some of these messages maybe you can post it to her. Generally, some of the messages which girls have sent, Tardin's message I saw. So some of the messages can be forwarded to her. So I hope you enjoyed yourself, girls. It is meant for you, for your benefit. It is meant to make you think about your future. She's given you some tips. She said she'll share some information about people who are looking for internships. some of you asked about internships. See, right now, many people are not offering internships. The reason is, you all know it's pandemic. There's an economic slowdown right now. So in an office of 100 people, the office itself has cut down on the regular staff. 50 people are sent off and only 50 people are working. And that too, it is work at home. So the offices are not open right now for you people to go and do any internship. So once this situation becomes normal, she said she'll share a lot of information with you, and she'll tell you where you can go and apply and where you can go for internships. All right. So please pass your feedback to her, and the office bearers by evening call your club. In one club, I think there'll be 30 girls. So you call for a meeting for your club. Find out how many people in your club attended the program and how many people did not attend the program. People who did not attend the program, what was the reason for them not attending the program? If it's a genuine reason, okay. If somebody's sick at home or if they themselves are sick, that's fine. But otherwise, just 1 hour of time, can't you spare, girls? Please think about it. Otherwise, if there's no point in me conducting programs if you're not going to attend. All right? So I hope you enjoyed, and let's look forward to the next coming sessions. Thank you. I'll log out. If you want to talk, you can stay back and talk. Bye, girls.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Volunteers, please fill the feedback and then leave.